Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Good to see you. Nights with Ping, very late tonight, 11:30 p.m. on the East Coast. What is it, like 8:30 p.m. on the West Coast, and somewhere in between in the middle. How are you all? Good to see you in the chat, I guess. I just had to fix something before we jumped on. I was trying to fix the bot. Some people said they were having issues with it last night, and I just wanted to figure that out, but had to log out of two different accounts to get into a different account, so it's a bit of a jumble. Penguin was here earlier, and Penguin says, had an Australian meat pie at a food truck today. Rather expensive for a small pie. Wonder if it was anything like Australian food. Probably, Penguin. It's not hard to make, and I think they do sell them in different places in America now, so I am getting some pushback on my microphone. Hold on. I can see my microphone looks very hot, what they call hot, and I'm trying to fix it. Hold on. Sometimes it likes to default. Yeah, no, it looks all right. But it's very high. I don't know what's going on. We'll see if it sort of gets better. And Danny Mitchell says, no mushrooms? No, no mushrooms. I wanted to say hi to Beth B, Flying DJ, Danny Mitchell. Danny Mitchell, the celebrity, is here with us. Nana Lana. Gambler was here earlier. That's great. Hey, Gambler. Diamond Heart, Mary L, Laura T, Diane was here. Sienna was here. Hey, Sienna. Woos was here. Kelly in Texas. Hey, Kelly in Texas. How are you? And did I grab everyone? I hope so. Petunia's here as well. Same with Harley. Hey, Harley. Oh, is it Haley? Haley? Sorry. I imagine R's where there are none. Yeah, I think we got everyone. Kathy Lynch is here. Hey, Kathy Lynch. And Lux is here. Good to see you guys. I wanted to show you this, if I can find it. We spoke about her a couple of months ago, and there's been a couple of small updates, and I thought you would be interested to know. I know this story made everyone very angry at the time, but this is the 95-year-old that was tasered. Hey guys, how's it going? Good to see you all. She was tasered and died after falling and hitting her head. She apparently had a knife and was advancing on police at the time. Police made the decision to discharge a taser, and she fell and hit her head and ended up dying in hospital. There's been some updates on this, and I'm going to show you what's going on. It says here, the alleged shocking exchange between police and the 95-year-old great-grandmother in the moments before she was tasered at her nursing home and later died have been revealed in court. Claire Nowland, who suffers from dementia, was hit with a taser by police at the Yallambee Lodge aged care facility near Cooma in New South Wales Snowy Mountains on May 17th. She died in hospital a week later from head injuries, surrounded by some of her 8 children, 24 grandchildren, and 30 great-grandchildren. The Nowland family has launched civil proceedings against the state government in the wake of her death. And there was a exchange down here where you can read what the police officer said before he discharged his weapon. Yeah. So it says here, around 4. Is that a real time? Look at this. What time is that, people? I've never seen time done in this way. 4.489 a.m. Is that 4:48 and 9 seconds? Maybe, okay. We'll just say 4:48 in the morning. 2 police officers arrived at the facility where a frail Miss Nowland was found sitting in a chair at a desk inside the nursing treatment room holding a knife in her right hand. Referring to evidence allegedly gathered from body-worn police cameras, the family's statement of claim alleges that at 5:08 a.m., the 2 officers put on slash-proof gloves and discussed disarming Miss Nowland. I mean, a broom would have taken the knife out of her hand. You may have broken her hand, you may have broken her wrist, but she would not have died. You know, she would have had a cast for a while, but she'd still be here with her great-grandchildren and her daughters and whoever else. Tasering her was a dumb idea. They said here, actually, it would be an idea to get her out here where we can just grab the knife off her, Senior Constable White allegedly said in a transcript. He says, I feel like I could do it right now. Sorry, the other officer says, I feel like I could do it right now. When Miss Nowland, who was 150 centimeters tall and weighed just 43 kilograms, stood with her walker, she was warned several times by police officers. And it says here, Oi, we're not playing this game, Claire. You're going to put that down, he said in the transcript. And then it says down here, this is your first warning. You see this? This is a taser. Drop it now. And then he says, see, you keep coming. You're going to get tasered. And then he says, stop now. Don't think I'm going to give you another warning. Less than a minute later, it is alleged that White said, bugger it, and fired the taser from 2 meters away, causing Claire to tumble from her walker and hit her head. And then he says to her, come on, Claire. You're all right. Talk to us, Claire. Are you okay? Is your head all right, Claire? And then he says to the other officer, didn't expect it to be like that. Unfortunately, that's the way it had to go. I was thinking I could just grab it, but it was a bit too sharp and pointed at me. I thought surely I could hit it out of her hand. Yes, it would have been a great option. How fast do you think she is at 95 years old and in a walker? I mean, I know people that suffer from dementia and Alzheimer's and things. They can have crazy bursts of strength at times, but I don't know. You think two cops with a couple of brooms couldn't have knocked it out of her hand instead of tasering her? I just think they could have. You know, you could have had one cop with a broom push her back in the chest with the broom, and the other cop smack it out of her hand with another broom, and she would have not been that hurt. The knife would have been able to get away, and she would have lived to see another day. But look, I'm not a cop. It's the heat of the moment as well. I mean, I don't know. It's just, is there a better way to do these things so people don't end up dead after what should be you know, it shouldn't be this crazy. It says here, he preferred not to have fired the taser, not be the person in town who tasered a 95-year-old. And then they said, the other one says, no, actually to have been stabbed. Oh yeah, that too, he said. And then he said it was the slowest fall ever. See, like she even fell to the ground slower. The Nowland family claims the officer's discussion of the incident while Claire was on the floor was demeaning, dismissive, and self-serving, and showed disregard for the harm they had caused to Claire. They also claim neither officer apologized or expressed any regret or remorse to the family. They also criticized how Miss Nowland was treated after being hit with the taser. The actions of White to apply further force to Claire in restraining her and pressing her into the ground after striking her with the taser were humiliating and unnecessary in disregard to Claire's loss of consciousness and the likelihood she had suffered a serious head injury. The claims allege Constable White fired the taser knowing Miss Nowland was elderly, disabled, and had limited mobility and a particularly small body mass. He knew or ought to have known Claire represented a low threat to himself and presented a very small risk to injury of other people. The claim accuses the officers of not properly considering alternatives and safer methods of containing Miss Nowland and de-escalating the situation. The actions of White were grossly disproportionate and excessive use of force, they say. There's a photo from her funeral, and you can see that's her walker that she had. You can sort of see the edge of it. And there's a sort of photo of her. And from what I read, this photo here she was a little bigger. Apparently, the night she died, she was a little thinner than this. She'd lost a little bit of weight, so she was even frailer than what this photo shows. So, I don't know, guys. He even said it to himself. Oh, I don't want to be the guy who tasered a 95-year-old. Then don't be. I mean, there's got to be other ways that we can treat elderly dementia patients. Gotta be. Danny Mitchell says, 30 likes, who's holding out? I don't know, Danny Mitchell. You get them, Danny. You tell him. Beth B says, he warned her, but she heard blah, blah, blah. I know, that's what I kind of thought too, is that maybe in her state that she was in, she didn't even understand the instructions. So Penguin says it's not like she had lightning fast reflexes. I mean, I get it if you're dealing with like a young person or something that's able bodied and can react really quickly and they have a knife. Sure, taser them because there's a good chance you're going to get stabbed. But this woman ain't going to stab anyone. I only need 7 more people. 7 more people for what? I don't know what Diane's talking about. Danny Mitchell says, I'll sniff them out, Ping. All right. Thanks, Danny. Wu says he was just being a tough cop. I think so too. I think maybe the bravado got to him in the moment, unfortunately. I think that's very sad. And her family deserves answers and an apology. The fact that they've never apologized to the family is disgusting. And we could do better than that, even as just humans, not their police, and she was a victim. Just as humans, you could just say sorry, you know. The lady lost her life. You know, it's just horrible. So they're looking at suing them, basically asking for damages over Claire's death, including funeral and wake expenses, loss of financial support, damages for curtailment of expectations of life, and loss of financial support. The New South Wales District Court can award damages of up to $1.2 million in civil cases. So we'll find out what happens. They have adjourned until October 26th. So not that long ago, not that long away. We'll find out soon. We'll find out shortly if they get a good ruling, which it was a very nice little pamphlet they had for her funeral too. May the Lord take you by the hand and lead you home. You know, very sad. She made it all the way to 95. And, you know, she could have made it to 100. Who knows? She could have been one of those people they interview on the news and they're like, how was your 100th birthday? And she's like, oh, yes, I drink a Coca-Cola every day at 4 o'clock. And that kept me going until I was 100. You guys always see those people on the news. We get them here too. Yeah. So I will put this link in the chat if you would like to read more about Miss Nowland. Hold on, let me give you that. The Daily Mail. And give me, you know, it's funny. Someone in the comments last night was saying they said I should make a shirt that says 1 minute, 1 moment. I will do that at some point. So I'm going to tell you now, 1 moment. All right, we're back. So apparently Trish is away and Insightful One is doing Halloween stuff. I actually am jealous because we don't get those type of you guys get those what do they call it, like Halloween at the, you know, the theme parks where you can go there and they often have, you know, spooky houses and people dressed up and you know, Universal Studios and things like that. I would love to do that, but they don't do that down here for Halloween. It's not a thing they do at all, unfortunately. Although we do have a lot of American candy around this year. We seen Reese's cups and things like that. So yes, Judah, the poor lady got tasered. I'm so confused about Diane Marie's math. She says 474, 6 more, let's do it. You mean to 480? Because it won't make it 500. You need another 26 more. Kathy Lynch says, I live for Reese's. I know it's pretty good, right? In Australia, we actually get a Reese's ice cream down here. You can get like a what is it, like a pint tub of Reese's peanut butter ice cream in Australia. It's pretty good. No, Alanis is right. Uh, oh, Laura G says my niece works for Busch Gardens. Yeah, I've never been to a Busch Gardens, but I do have friends that work there, and it sounds like a great place. They sounds like they have a lot of fun doing like the Halloween uh, festivities and haunted houses and people dressed up as ghouls. I don't know. I think Americans do Halloween quite fun. They do a lot of fun things at October. So, all right. Now, if I can find my next story, we'll talk about it. This was sent in to me, and I'd never heard of this, so I'm going to just grab the right name. Oh, it's raining. It started raining again. Where is it? Oh, this is from DJ. Hey, DJ. Thanks for sending this to me, bud. I appreciate it. I'm going to fix this, and then we're going to watch this little video, and then I'm going to explain what exactly is going on. Because we do things backwards here. That's how we do things. All right, hold on.
In other news tonight, a search underway for this vehicle right there on your screen that investigators believe is connected to an Austin woman's death. More than a week ago, firefighters discovered the body of 33-year-old Melissa David during a grass fire. And now close friends are remembering Davis, calling the circumstances surrounding her death horrible.
They say she was a woman with so many talents, dreams, and ambitions. KVU's Isabella Basco joins us here in the studio to share more of their memories tonight. Isabella?
Well, Brian and Quita, Ellie Simmons and David Haseman were close friends of Davis who say they were drawn to her wanderlust, free spirit, and the desire to live fully and make each day count. Now they're left to live the rest of their lives without her. A soul sister. That's how Ellie Simmons describes her relationship with her best friend, Melissa Davis. Both free spirits, both travelers, and both driven to make each day count.
She had more of a zest for life than I think anyone else. And we actually had dreams together with one of our other friends to start a hostel in Costa Rica. And we would have an art station. She painted, she loved art. She was like a shining light in the dark. And she made any situation that was harder or darker, lighter.
That light would be abruptly taken away, with firefighters discovering Davis's body while responding to a grass fire in northwest Austin more than a week ago. APD is now searching for her car, a blue 2016 Toyota 4Runner with this license plate as part of its homicide investigation. Her death leaving Davis's close friend, David Haseman, in disbelief.
It left me just with a deep grief. Just to know that this person I cared so much about was not only gone, but had been through such an ordeal.
I still feel like my heart is breaking, like I'm being stabbed, like I've been stabbed and I'm bleeding out slowly.
Her death makes Haseman reflect on a painting Davis left at his property of a bird flying towards the sun.
I try to project where she is, and that image of that bird flying off to the sun is almost symbolic of her life.
And if you have any information on Davis's death, you are urged to contact 512-974-TIPS. That's 512-974-TIPS, or submit a tip to the Capital Area Crime Stoppers program by visiting their website. A reward of up to $1,000 could be available for any information that leads to an arrest.
So what do you think happened there? That is really weird, right? Thank you to DJ for sending that in. I appreciate it, buddy. I don't get it, right? So they found her in a grass fire, but they don't have her car. Where's the car? So they're looking for that car. I think they showed a photo of it. There is another one here. Let's see if this is. Oh, it's just a crime scene. Yeah, you can see the car here. This type of blue 4Runner. I know it's hard to get. I know it's hard to find cars in the US. I've heard that they can be hidden for years, so they're difficult to find if people want them hidden. It says here the APD says that Davis' vehicle has a Texas license plate KYV 3765. No suspects have been arrested in relation to Davis' death, although her close friend David Hazeman is still in disbelief. I don't understand.
Brian and Quita.
Do you think it's like a lover, like someone she knew she was dating, and they killed her? Or it'd be really unusual for this to be random, right? Unless it's a carjacking. Maybe a carjacking that went wrong. It's interesting that they got rid of her but not the car. That's the thing to me. Why keep the car and get rid of her? So it makes me kind of think maybe it's a carjacking that went wrong. Someone said up here, Sparkle D. Hey, Sparkle D. Good to see you. Says, have I been to America? Yes, I have been to America a few times, although I have not been in October. So I've never experienced like Halloween or Thanksgiving, Black Friday. Unfortunately, no. But I would like to. Kathy Lynch says, my first thought was a carjacking. Yeah, it's what it kind of seems like. We just got to find the car, but I mean, the thing now is to find the killer. We know where she is. They found her. It's more finding who is responsible for her death. I still think, what is it, like $1,000 in reward money? It's not a lot of money, is it? They're saying here the body of the 33-year-old was found during a grass fire. You know what's really interesting about that? Like a day ago in Australia, they found a body in a grass fire down here too. I'll show you. Hold on. Hey, go away. By the way, that video was from KVUE ABC TV, and I will give you the link, or it'll be in the description. But I will find this. Hold on, let me show you. Yes, here. It says here. I just don't want this. It's all right. It's muted. Young woman's charred body found after grass fire in Browns Plains BMX track, prompting major police investigation. Firefighters found the body after putting out the blaze near Brisbane, Australia. And this was only like a day ago. So when DJ sent me that story, I initially thought it was about this, but two separate female deaths over two different continents, one in Australia, one in the US. So very strange. They haven't really figured out anything about this one yet. It says a major criminal investigation is underway after the woman was found when firefighters extinguished the blaze at a BMX track in Browns Plains in Logan about 6 a.m. on Friday. Barry Clare, who lives next to the track, said he came out of his home to a shocking, terrible smell that he thought had been caused when kids had burned the bins again. The smell of the smoke was terrible. Something was going on because more and more police came. Police have not determined if the woman's death is suspicious, but have launched an investigation into the sudden and unexplained death. Most certainly, we are not saying anything that it's homicide. It is simply an unexplained death at this moment in time. We hope to get clarity around that as quickly as we can for all those involved. Yeah, so they don't really know much at this stage. They said, we believe at this stage the lady involved was probably on foot in the area in the hours leading up to her untimely death. Anybody who may have seen a young lady walking around 3 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. this morning, we would like to hear from them. Who would be up that early at a BMX track? That's who I want to know. Who would be up at 3 a.m.? Or maybe the killer, if she was murdered. But other than that, most people would be asleep at the time. Here you go. You guys can see the area. It's, you know, it does, right? Hold on. Bloody creaky voice. Yeah, it does sound suspicious, Woos. It really does. Really does. By the way, I would like to thank my friend, Sula Smith. Sulamith? Sulamith. There we go. I don't know why I think your name has an S at the end, but Sulamith. Sulamith, thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me and helps me do more live shows on this channel in the future. I appreciate it. And good to see you here, by the way. I'm not sure if I've seen you on this chat before, but it's great to have you here. Kathy Lynch says, I'm almost always up at 3 a.m. Are you the neighbor that calls in like suspicious people in your geez, my mouth, what's going on? Suspicious people in your street. Sorry you had to hear that. It's like I was spitting into my microphone. It's not going well tonight, people. Yeah, are you the person that always calls people? Oh my God, there's a suspicious person in my street tonight. He's dressed all in black. Yeah, that's a pizza delivery guy. No, he's way more suspicious than that. He's holding something. Yeah, that's a pizza box. We have people like that here, but I'm just joking, Kathy. It's good to look out. You know, you never know if you're going to be the Hey, Danny Mitchell says not as bad as last night's potty mouth fest. Was I swearing last night, Danny Mitchell? Was I? Was I swearing? Oh, when I swore at the guy. Sorry about that. Sorry about swearing at the troll. I will be more careful in the future. They get me so mad. It's like, why are you wasting everyone's time being in here? Audrey. Hey, Audrey. Good to see you. Sula says, you are welcome first time in chat here. Oh, well, it's good to have you. It really is. All right, Danny, I promise. I won't swear as much next time. We'll just give like hand gestures. We'll do silent protest at the camera and we'll get rid of them. All right, hold on. Let me get you another story. Let me get you another. All right, here we go. And we got a video. Another video. All right. Let's watch that.
Also breaking at this hour, a circuit court judge is dead after being shot outside of his Maryland home.
Let's send it out now to Fox 5's Melanie Alwick, who's live in Hagerstown with the latest details on this developing story. Mel, what do we know at this hour?
There's not a lot of information coming from the Washington County Sheriff's Office, and that is frankly making people in this community very anxious. They want to have information about who might be on the loose, any kind of description of a vehicle or a person that they ought to be looking out for, or if someone is in custody, they want to know that because they're feeling very scared about what happened here. Very quiet here on the street, Old Waterford Drive here. We're in the Clear Spring community, which is maybe about 14 minutes north of Hagerstown. And there's no police here at this point. So everything has been wrapped up as far as the evidence collection of the investigation was in the driveway right here behind me of this home where that judge was found shot. Now, that was 8 p.m. last night when the call came into the Washington County Sheriff's Department. And when they arrived, we're told that they found the judge, 52-year-old Andrew Wilkinson, in the driveway suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. He was taken to a nearby hospital but could not be saved. Now, we did speak with Washington County Circuit Court Administrative Judge Brett Wilson last night, who was a colleague of this particular judge, and he told us it has been a horrific night. The sheriff's office has not provided any more information. Now, there are reports out there that this may be connected to a case that the judge ruled on earlier Thursday, but we have to caution you that none of that has been confirmed at this point. And again, no information from the sheriff's office about any kind of suspect suspect lookout or whether there has been an arrest in this case. We can tell you that Western Maryland State Delegate Neil Parrott, who is from the Hagerstown area, posted on X, "Horrible news. Please pray for our police and for Judge Wilkinson's family at this time." And that is also a common sentiment here in the community. Prayers for the judge and his family, prayers for, indeed, if this was connected to a court case earlier in the day, everyone involved in that. We can tell you that Judge Wilkinson has a family, children of his own. He's very active in the community, in his church, Little League Baseball, youth soccer. So folks here are still just reeling from this and definitely wanting some more information. There is going to be a press conference later today. The sheriff's office has not yet told us what time.
Such a disturbing situation. Thanks, Mel, for the update. Appreciate it. Let's
So what do you guys think about that one? Is that what we're getting to as a society? We're just gonna shoot people that, like judges that rule against us. We're just gonna be like, oh, we'll just shoot him. I didn't like his judgment, so I'm just gonna shoot him. You know, that's just what's gonna happen from now on. I I don't know. It says here, investigators named Pedro Argot, 49, as a suspect in the killing, with court records showing he had his divorce case presided over by Mr. Wilkinson the same day. Mr. Argot is not in custody and is currently considered armed and dangerous. Sheriff Brian Albert said at a press conference on Wednesday he confirmed that police believe this was a targeted attack of Judge Wilkinson. The sheriff earlier in the day the sheriff said earlier in the day Mr. Wilkinson gave custody of Mr. Argot's children to his ex-partner, alluding that this may be why the judge was targeted. However, the sheriff also said that Mr. Argot was not in attendance at the court hearing. Police described Mr. Argot as 5 foot 7 inches tall, 130 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. They believe he could be driving a silver 2009 Mercedes GL 450 with Maryland registration plates 4EH0408. The investigators told police do not approach him and to immediately contact police if they think they know his location. I don't get it, eh? I mean, I know court cases are tough, but you can't be going around shooting public officials. I mean, no matter how mad you get or how much you think it ruined your life, how would he even know where he lived? Did he follow him from the courthouse? He waited for him or something and took the car home? Oh, Diane says he's got violence in his past as well. Yeah, I saw that. Kathy Lynch says these custody cases become so contentious. Yeah, they do. They really do. And, you know, people say the worst stuff about their partner, the worst stuff about someone they used to love. And it's really heartbreaking to listen to any child court case or custody hearing. Diamond Heart says he's not going to see his kids now. Nope. He is going to have a long prison stay after this, possibly 30 years, maybe more. Audrey Emery says, thanks, Ping. I am usually listening on to your replay. I do enjoy your program and have been with you from the beginning. Always like and subscribe. It's good to have another Aussie here. I really enjoy seeing my countrymen come here, so it's great. Hey, Candy Williams and Snap Crackle Pop. Is Snap Crackle Pop here? I didn't see Snap. Oh, there it is. Hey, Snap. I love that name. Isn't that the name of the cereal? Is it Cocoa Pops, or is that the one that does Snap Crackle Pop, or is it the white one? I can't remember. Rice Bubbles? Is Rice Bubbles Snap Crackle Pop? I can't remember. All right, let's move on from this one. I wanted to show you that was from, pretty sure that was from Gambler. Let me double check. No, that wasn't from Gambler. That was from Margaret and Vinny. I think so. Is that Margaret? Oh, no, that might be from. I'm not sure. Either it's Margaret and Vinny or it's the other one, retired RN. I'm not sure. Not sure of the email. You guys, you'll have to let me know in chat, either one of you, and let me know which one it was of either of you. They didn't leave a name. They just sent a link. So, all right, hold on. Let me get you another story. I am going to enjoy my day off tomorrow, guys. As you can hear, my voice is starting to go from doing too many live shows this week. I've been on like almost every night, and it's starting to get a little crackly. Just a little bit. I guess we can talk about this one. It's a little contentious though. But I do like these historical cases that get solved. Here. Queensland man jailed over humiliating and degrading, R word of Perth woman 31 years ago. 31 years. The woman was bound and sexually violated by an intruder in 1992. DNA breakthrough came 28 years later. Her attacker, then 17, is now behind bars. He was 17 at the time. It says a single mom who was, R-worded at knife point by a teenage intruder who broke into her home more than 3 decades ago has finally received justice. The man, now 48, sentenced in Perth Children's Court on Friday, as harrowing details about the shocking incident and how police used DNA to track him down on the other side of the country were revealed. The court heard the woman, then 24, was asleep in her home in Embleton in Perth in the early hours of Good Friday, 1992, when the balaclava-clad teen clambered through a kitchen window. The woman woke to find the teen straddling her before he pressed a towel into her face and over her mouth. She said that it made it difficult. Well, guys, hold on. There we go. Sorry. It said it made it difficult for her to breathe. She was ordered to roll onto her stomach, and then the teen bound her hands behind her back with her shoelaces. Wow, where have we seen that before? That's really interesting. Wasn't that the same technique that the Golden State Killer used on his victims? I'm pretty sure. He did the same thing, ordered them to roll onto their stomach and then use shoelaces to tie them up. I don't know why that's such a well-known thing, but the teen held a 12-inch knife to her throat as she pleaded with him not to hurt her. The court heard he then R-worded her before he tied a shoelace around her head and stuffed a sock in her mouth. He then left her home after stealing money from her purse. The woman, now 55, managed to untie herself and grab her unharmed baby before running to a neighbor's house to get help and call police. Her DNA was collected, frozen, and stored by police who didn't have forensic technology at the time, but were confident there would be a breakthrough in the future as technology improved. Wow, how clever. They just knew they didn't have the tools, but they knew in the future it would happen. And they were like, well, we'll get him. It might not be today, but we will get him eventually. The woman recalled the harrowing lifelong impact the assault had on her life through a powerful victim impact statement, which was read out to the court on Friday's sentencing. She said, I don't think there are words to describe. For over 30 years, this has been the monster in my closet, the evil in the shadows, never knowing if he was around watching me. The man R-worded me in my own bed. It was premeditated and planned. He held a knife the size of my forearm to my throat. I was tied up. I had tears streaming down as I begged him to please shut the door because I didn't want my daughter to find me like this. She says she has suffered with insomnia, depression, and anxiety in the 31 years since. I don't feel safe ever, her statement added. The man eventually had a family of his own and moved to Queensland with his partner and 4 children in 2016. A breakthrough emerged in late 2020 when a partial DNA link was made to a relative of the offender. The man became a suspect, and 6 months later, he was interviewed by Queensland police, who obtained a DNA sample from the man, which matched the profile of the woman's attacker. The man claimed in his police interview he had no recollection of the night in question or the assault, as he heavily used meth and drank alcohol at the time. He's been in custody for the last 5 months when he was extradited back to WA to face charges of burglary, sexual assault, and deprivation. He has since pleaded guilty to the charges. Well, that's pretty good. The fact he pleaded guilty straight away, great news for the victim. His defense lawyer told the court his client was remorseful for his offending and that the incident had played on his mind over and over in the last 3 decades. Wait. His defense lawyer told the court his client was remorseful for his offending and the incident had played on his mind over the decades. Wait, he just said he doesn't remember the night in question. How does that work? So he doesn't remember, but then he was remorseful and played on his mind over the decades? He just suddenly remembered. The court heard the then teen was a troubled young man who had battled mental health issues that were unusual and untreated after he was sexually abused by older males when he was a young boy. Judge Wendy Hughes described the incident as humiliating and degrading in her sentencing remarks, as she praised police on their work to get a conviction 3 decades later. People can have confidence that their case will not be forgotten, she told the court. Wow, it's amazing. Really well done by the WA and Queensland police to track this guy down 30 years later. But I want to know how that works, how he says in his interview he doesn't remember, but then he said it played on his mind over 3 decades. Sounds like maybe pandering to the court for a lower sentence, maybe? I know, right, Beth B? Beth B says, but he doesn't remember. I know, so you can sort of remember, but then be, have a guilty conscience for 3 decades. Hey, Dr. Edwin Moskowitz and Julie, how are you both? Good to have you here. Hope you are doing well. Hope the practice is doing well. I hope you're doing great things for your community like you always are. Ping is a real detective. I just notice things in articles like that. I'm like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Yeah. Good result though. Glad he pleaded guilty early. It saves the victim from having to go to trial and go under cross-examination during that trial. So it saves her a bunch of re-traumatization from having to relive that night and give evidence and explain what he did and all that kind of stuff. So it's a good result. I find it interesting it said here it's in the children's court, and I wonder if that's got to do with he was 17 at the time. Do they have to sentence him as if he was 17 and underage? Does he have to be sentenced in a children's court because, yeah, he was 17 at the time? I would like to know if that is why. It may mean he'll get a very little sentence because of it. Oh no, here it says here. Bloody hell, Ping. It says here the man was sentenced to 4 years and 4 months behind bars. That's not that long for what he did. 4 years and then he'll get it plead down. So he'll probably serve about 18 months behind bars, about 1.5 years. That's what I suspect out of that sentence. Maybe even a year, and then he'll be paroled on a community corrections order. That's what I think. Hold on. Harley says it ruined her poor life. It ruined the poor lady's life, yeah. I feel like she's been thinking about it ever since, but Candy Williams, yeah, he got 4 years and 4 months, but I reckon he's probably going to get a lower, like 18 months, maybe a year, by the time he actually serves time, has it reduced, and then goes on parole. So he'll be back with his family in about a year and a half, unfortunately. Candy Williams says, I always wonder how the wife feels after this. Would be interesting if to see if he gets divorced. Like, I wonder how, if she's willing to stay with a man who has done that to another woman. Do you know what I mean? It's interesting. You never quite know what another wife would think, whether she would think that's horrible. I'm living with someone who's committed such a heinous crime to another woman. I don't know. We'll find out. I'm sure when he gets parole, it'll be in the paper. Let's just see. Does it have a name? Let's have a look. You want to see if he's married? Let's have a look. Can we get a name? No name? That's interesting. There is no name here, which they've even got his head covered in this photo. Look. He's covered his head with a jacket while the police escort him away, but I find that interesting. I get why the victim doesn't want her name, but there are some laws in Australia, get this. They can't name the victim in case it names the offender, and they can't name the offender in case it names the victim. So they just don't name either of them in some states in Australia. So you get some situations where the victim would like to speak out and she can't. She can't tell her story because it might identify like the offender or whatever, and it breaks the law. So they've been trying to change that recently so that victims don't feel like they're being silenced by court orders, or the law. That's true. I didn't think of that, Woos. Wu says they probably won't name him because he was 17 at the time of the crime. That's probably that's it. That's probably why it went through a children's court, was because it would be automatically sealed. Because if you go through the children's court, I'm pretty sure it gets quashed. Most of the details get sealed. At least I'm pretty sure. That's why we don't have any names. We just know what the crime is, and we know how they found him. But not much more than that. And we got a victim impact statement. That's about it. So maybe you are right, Woos. Maybe that's got something to do with being through a children's court. Actually, I want to look that up. I want to find out under what circumstances can an adult go through a children's court. Let's have a look. I'm just having a look if there's a way. I can't really find anything on what the specifications are. Aha, here. The Children's Court Division has jurisdiction to hear and determine charges against young people who were between 10 and 17 years old at the time of the offending. So there you go. That's the sort of guidelines, and he was 17 at the time of the offending. That's interesting, though. Attempted murder. It says here that the criminal division may deal with all charges except murder, attempted murder, manslaughter, child homicide, homicide by firearm, arson causing death, and culpable driving causing death. So the only charges they won't deal with, and these would probably go to Supreme Court or Superior Court, which is, it sounds like, as long as it doesn't involve you killing someone or causing the death of another, in like, with a vehicle or something like that, they'll deal with just about anything. Here it goes. If a person has turned 19 years old by the time their court commences, the case will be listed as the magistrate's court instead of the children's court. I would have to ask a lawyer how that works, how they determine what charges can go through the children's court and which ones can go through an adult court. Audrey Emery says, I thought the law had been changed for the victims with the right to speak out. I think some states have. I'm not sure if all of them. Hey, Snap Crackle Pop. Hey, Ping. You're welcome here. The weather is a perfect example of wonderful fall weather. Oh, that's so nice. It's hot here. Real hot today in Australia. Let me have a look. Audrey, would you like to know that answer? Let's have a look. Aha, here. Here. Reforms now in place which make it easier for victims of sexual offences to tell their stories. It is a crime to publish any details likely to identify a victim survivor of a sexual offence. The law has been in place since 1991. It is intended to protect victim survivor privacy and encourage reporting and prosecution of sexual offending. Changes to the Judicial Proceedings Report Act (JPRA) that came into effect on the 18th of November 2020 make it easier for victim survivors to speak out about their experiences. The law will still protect the privacy of all victim survivors that do not wish to be identified. Under the changes, adult victim survivors will be able to share their experiences in the following ways: self-publication, publication by others, and interesting. Is that a national law? Okay, this looks like it's a Victorian law. Guidance for people applying for permission to publish information about victims of sexual offences. You have to apply to the Supreme Court to seek permission about victims of... Okay, so it looks like there are some loopholes that you can now talk out, but it looks like there are some ones where you still have to ask for permission in certain states, like Victoria. You have to ask magistrate, county, or supreme for guidance for applying for. So it looks like there are some that you have to still ask for legal help with, which is interesting. My chat is really playing up today. I only see like comments from like 10 minutes ago. Oh, hold on. Oh, Dr. Ed and Julie sent you a little... Oh, thank you so much, guys. Hold on, let me check. I'll check for you. There we go. You guys are both so sweet. Thank you so much. I'll just read the little message here. Julie and Dr. Ed both say, thank you, Ping. You are a wonderful professional. Enjoy your chat a great deal. Sending you a little, just Julie and Dr. Ed. Thank you both so much. You guys are so kind. And I love speaking with you both. You're really, really lovely people. They do a lot of good in the world. Ask Dr. Ed and Julie what they do for a living. They are very interesting people. And yeah, thank you both for supporting the new channel. I appreciate it. Wu says the perpetrators of those crimes can now be named in Queensland. There's a big case in Toowoomba in Queensland where the accused wants his name suppressed, but the new law allows his name to be published. Which case is that, Woos? Put that in the chat for me. I'm interested to know which particular Queensland Toowoomba case that is. Is it a murder or is it a sexual case? Oh, this one. Ah, yes. I know which one you're talking. I know which one it is now. It's this one. High-profile man accused of Toowoomba, R-word case loses court bid to maintain anonymity. This is the one you're talking about. And it says here, but the man's identity will remain secret for now after lawyers in court immediately flagged they would lodge an appeal. Man, he's really trying to keep his name out of the headlines. So, if you haven't been following this, there's a high-profile guy currently going through an R-word trial, and the woman in the case wants to talk about it, I think, right, Woos? And he wants his name to remain secret. And we don't know who he is, but apparently he is high profile. People know who he is in real life. And yeah, they're trying to figure out what to do here. It says here an interim order preventing his name from being published will remain in place until Tuesday, despite Magistrate Claire Kelly on Friday dismissing the arguments made by his lawyer when seeking a permanent non-publication order. That order was successfully opposed by numerous media companies, including The Guardian Australia. The interim order will remain in place until early next week, so the man has time to file an appeal against Friday's decision in the Toowoomba Magistrates Court. The man is charged with 2 counts of R-ing a woman in October 2021, with the case working its way through early committal proceedings at Toowoomba Magistrates Court this year. Until this month, his name had been protected under Queensland law, which prohibited media companies from naming accused sex offenders until they were committed to stand trial. However, Queensland introduced new laws in September to allow the naming of accused sexual offenders after they were charged. The change, which brings the state into line with most other states and territories, took effect earlier this month. Media companies who successfully opposed the application for the non-publication order include ABC 9 News Corp, Network 10, and The Guardian. Oh my God. He basically has the entire contingent of Australian media basically wanting his name publicized in the newspaper. He must be someone really big. For them to go to this much trouble and this much legal expense to get his name out there, he must be someone we all know. I wonder who he is. Woos, do you know who it is? Oh, do you have an idea who it might be? Do you reckon it's a sporting person, or do you think it's like a politician? Let's see what Woos has to say. I want to know if Woos has any idea what the person is. Hey, Marlene Clausen. She says, just getting over a cold, sending a long distance hug. I'll give you a hug, Marlene. Good to see you. Wu says, I have no idea. Maybe a politician. Could be. I wonder if it's a sporting person, like a rugby person or like a Brisbane Bronco, something like that. Hey, Toy. Good to see you. But I mean, for all those media publications to come out and put all that legal money into it, it must be someone we all know. Has to be. Because they just wouldn't care otherwise. They'd just be like, we don't really care about it. It must be someone they can get some good articles from. It says here, Crown Prosecutor Nicole did not agree with the magistrate's decision, should be delayed until Tuesday, but didn't challenge her ruling. The magistrate said she would formally hand down her decision next week without the need for a further hearing if a formal appeal had not been lodged by the Tuesday deadline. She said she has made it quite clear what my decision is and the basis for that decision, which was to not grant the non-publication order, meaning he could be named in the media. The defendant's legal team also lost a bid to keep secret some details in their submission that they argued would reveal sensitive personal information, including details of a psychologist's report. We'll find out. Oh, yeah. So it says here another lawyer for the man, Rowan King, had previously requested access to the alleged victim's phone records, including 6 months of data before the date of the alleged offense. Like that's just phishing and like intimidation. To ask for data 6 months before the offense was committed of the victim's data, it's just, you know, it's a fear campaign directed at the victim. That's exactly what it is. All right, well, we'll find out. Maybe next week I can tell you who he is. Toy Airy says, how many years ago? Let's have a look. Does it tell us even a year? No. Let's see if I can find it on a different story. The man has been charged with 2 counts of R-ing a woman in October 2021. So not that long ago, 2 years ago. Pretty recent kind of case. There were, it's Marlene Clausen says, where is your Star magazine or People magazine like we get the dirt here in the US? I would consider probably the Daily Mail like that. I think that, Daily Mail is probably our sort of, not trashy, but they sort of get a lot of information that other ones won't publish. Dr. Ed and Julie. Dr. Ed and Julie put their what they do in the chat. They are great people, really, really lovely people who'd help their community so much. They do great stuff for so many people. So 2021, we'll find out on Tuesday, should the appeal go through. I suspect his appeal will probably be rejected based on the original judges being she was so certain that her judgment is correct that the appealing judge might just go, no, I don't believe that you are deserving of an appeal, and the original judge had it correct, and it'll probably get tossed out. At least I think so. Sula says Daily Mail have the best pics. Yeah, they do, don't they? They tend to have a lot more photos than other publications. Oh, that's true. Wu says football players get their names released. Yeah, because of the in Australia, football clubs have a sort of, what do they call it? No fault stand down. They have sort of like a thing where if you get charged with a crime, including sexual crimes, you have to basically stand down until it goes through the legal system or something like that. It's some weird thing where basically the league holds them accountable for their actions. So yeah, you might be right, Woos. If it was a football player, we may have already found out because the league would have taken action against them already. It's the question on everyone's lips in Australia. Who is the high profile guy in Toowoomba? We'll find out next week. Because I don't think he's going to get an appeal. I think I think it's gone through the court enough where the new appeal judge will probably say they're just wasting time and that he has no hope of appeal because he can't find something to appeal properly on. And that happens all the time in Australian cases. All right, let me see if I can find one more thing to talk about and then we're going to go for the night. Oh, actually, check this out. Is this the guy? Maryland cops hunting desperate dad who guns down judge in driveway after losing custody battle. I'm guessing that's the judge. Is that the guy? Is that a photo of him? Let's have a look. Pedro Agot. Well, yeah, Pedro. That must be him. That's the story we spoke about before. That looks like that's the guy. Wow, okay. So if you see that guy, call it in. You never know. It says here, Wilkinson also ordered the children's mother to have sole use and possession of the property, which Argot was also prohibited from entering. Argot was ordered to pay $1,120 a month for the 4 children. Wow, he had a really heavy custody order against him. He lost his property that he lived in, and then he also was going to get charged around $1,200 a month for the children. Wow, no wonder he was angry, but you don't go and shoot a judge. Hold on. Let's have a look at this. Twins found dead in home after mum jumps off bridge to her death. Oh my god, how sad. 5-year-old twins were found dead in Florida after their mother jumped off a bridge into Lake Jessup to her death. Motorists saw a car pulled off on the shoulder of State Road 417 and a woman sliding out of the passenger side window about 8:45 a.m. before jumping into the water. Deputies spotted the woman, who has been identified as Carrier Catoera Huto, floating in the water, and enlisted 2 fishermen, one who was an off-duty firefighter, to recover her body. Lemmer said the discovery prompted a wellness check at the home in Sanford, where officers found 2 children, a boy and a girl, dead in their bunk beds. The medical examiner will determine the cause of death. Oh my god. Lemmer said a gun was found in the bedroom, but the children did not appear to be shot, nor did they have any signs of blunt force trauma. The deputies did not check vital signs. They would not know what? If the deputies did not check the vital signs, they would not have known they were deceased. Okay. WESH identified the twins as Ahmed and Ava Jackson. Lemmer said both children were special needs, but there had been no signs of trouble, including calls to the home. A Habitat for Humanity project completed about a year ago. Oh my god, how terrible. The sheriff said there was little food or furniture in the home, but investigators so far don't know if Hudo, who worked at a temp agency, was struggling financially, according to WKMG. She had been at work a few days earlier, he said. The twins last attended school on October 13th. Lemmer said Huto apparently tried Thursday night to call her mother, who lives in Perry, Florida, but was in Orlando for a medical procedure. The mother told officials she missed the call and had assumed it was one of her children playing with the phone, since no one left a message. Lemmer said the children's father lives in South Florida. Oh, how terrible. There's a photo of the 2 little kids and the mum. It's a shame that the mum felt like she had to take that action if they do find out it was her that killed the children. It feels like there could be more support out there for mums doing it tough. It really could be. Hey, Marilyn. What did Marilyn say? Who is doing miracles? Oh, Marilyn's daughter treats autoimmune illnesses. Oh, very cool. Yeah, very heartbreaking. The fact that a mum felt like she had to jump off a bridge. Oh my god. Got to have more support in the community for people. I saw this. This will be the last one. I just saw it and I wanted to talk about it. Blood seeping from walls leads to discovery of body in chimney. Ugh. It says here an investigation is underway in Nebraska after a body was found in a chimney on Thursday. Police said they were called about a body found in a chimney at an apartment building in Norfolk. Sources tell the Norfolk Daily News that the chimney runs through the middle of the building, and the landlord checked after tenants complained of a foul odor. Sources claim that they and the landlord originally believed blood dripping down the walls was from an animal that got trapped and died. However, the human remains were reportedly discovered after the landlord asked maintenance to knock down a wall. The sources also told The Norfolk Daily News that the only way to access the chimney was from the outside is to use a ladder to get on the top of a local bar. From there, the person on the roof of the bar would have to use a ladder again to get onto the apartment building's roof. The source explained that the apartment building's roof was another 7 feet. Oh my God. It is thought it is possible to access the apartment's roof from inside. 2 people would likely need to do it due to the various sealed doors that would need to be opened before making it to the attic. Authorities are investigating the death as accidental, even though the case remains open. Officials have not publicly named the decedent. There we go. So, let me get that straight. You could access it from the inside, but you would need at least 2 people to unlock doors or get into different places. If you went via the roof, you would need a ladder to get onto the local bar. From there, you would have to use another ladder to get onto the apartment building's roof. It's saying that the apartment roof to the chimney was another 7 feet. So then you would have to get another 7 feet up to the chimney. How would you do it? Do you think someone drunk, like a drunk person, got out of the bar or went like building hopping or something and fell into the chimney or something like that? Sula says, reminds me of Elisa Lamb. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Candy Williams says, positional asphyxia. I definitely think it's probably crush asphyxia, where they get into a position where it crushes on their chest and they can't breathe. Kathy Lynch says, I have never understood how blood seeped outside in the Utah college murders. Listen to Joseph Scott Morgan at CrimeCon. He explains how, geez, my throat. He explains how the blood could get to the outside. He actually explains it on that on his panel, because I always thought it was like, no way, like how could that ever happen? And he explained it quite well, how you can get blood to the outside. And he showed some photos about, this was a less violent crime with only one person. This was another crime that only had like a stabbing. So yeah. Marlene Clausen says, too much work for me, would take a lot of thought. Maybe it was a burglar, like someone trying to burgle the property and got in the wrong thing, like the chimney. Lindy says, poor construction. Yeah, it could be. Could be poor construction. That's how they had blood on the outside. All right, I think we're about to wrap up, everyone. I think we're about to wrap up for the night. All right. I really appreciate it. I won't be on tomorrow night, but I will be on Sunday night for Sunday Nights with Ping on websleuths.com. And I really appreciate it. I hope you guys had a lot of fun here tonight. I always have fun whenever I come out and hang with you all. And yeah, I will bring you more stories shortly. We will do much more true crime in like 24 hours, I promise. And then give my voice a break for a day tomorrow, which is Sunday here in Australia. And that'll be good because I think it's crapped out because of all the shows I've done in the last week. I want to thank Sula and my friends Dr. Ed and Julie for the donations tonight. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. And thank you to all the people who have subscribed recently. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. I promise. We're going to get to that 500 and then hopefully 1,000. And then, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens after that. But I will be back on Sunday night for Sunday Nights with Ping. I hope you have a great weekend. Have Have a great Saturday morning, and I'll see you Sunday night. I think Trish will be back tomorrow night for Woo Woo Saturday night. So look out for her link, and yeah, have a great night, everyone. Sorry we came on late. Actually, it was good. We got to go a little earlier for me, but yes, have a great night, everyone. You guys are such a great crowd and a great chat to talk with, and very I can ask things and you guys answer stuff or leave suggestions. So it's a lot of fun. We will be back next week. Yeah, see you in a couple of days, and then Tuesday American time we will be back on this channel. So until then, have a great weekend. Love you all. Thanks for the donations and the likes and the subscribes, and keep an eye out on the community page for the next showtime. Good night, everyone. Have a spooky weekend. Bye bye.